Hello, welcome to the Logistics Business Virtual Show. We have a series of 10 expert panels for you, and this session covers the theme of rugged mobility in the warehouse. Of course, a breakthrough technology, very exciting, making huge difference to processes, efficiencies in the warehouse. And I'm joined by 4 experts from the industry who will give us their insight into helping your perhaps business decision making, helping you make the right call on where you should be going with this technology and what is appropriate for you. So if I can ask everyone to introduce themselves just briefly, who they are and their role, and we'll start with Jonas, shall we?
Yes, hello. My name is Johan Head, and I'm with Handheld Group, a Swedish-based company here representing. And I'm a director of product management, meaning overseeing product lifecycle and also the future new products to market. So I've been with Handheld here for 10 years, and yeah, looking forward to this discussion about rugged mobility within logistics and warehousing.
And Fred?
Good morning, Paul. I'm Frederic Dorsey. I'm the Channel Sales Director at Big Solon, one of the leading manufacturers of thermal printing equipment.
Thank you. Sorry, carry on.
No, I'm done.
Okay, Mike.
Hey, Paul. Yeah, so I'm Mike Willett. I'm the logistics lead here at Panasonic Toughbook, UK and Ireland. So yes, I've been in the industry 16 years. Specialising in rugged technology, and at Panasonic, it's been an exciting time with a lot of new innovation that's come to market. So it's an exciting period for us. Thank you,
and Anthony.
Good morning, yeah, Anthony Gibbs, Data Logic, Mobile Solutions Manager for UK and Ireland. So responsible for our Android range of products here in the UK.
Fantastic. Now, just to get us started, big quick fire round. Sum up the state of the sector, the industry for me in 3 words. Johan, start with you.
3 words: automation, track and trace, major trend, and sustainability.
Okay, and Fred?
E-commerce, mobility, and reliability.
And Mike?
So there was a lot of discussion around this internally, and there was a lot of words or bounced around. And we looked at it as it's all about more. It's all about more, and more. That's what we come up with. So we can talk a bit more about that.
We'll give you a chance to expand on that later. And yeah. Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's around sort of automation and efficiency. And I know it was just really busy. As is everyone in the world at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. No surprises there, I don't think, but it shows the importance of those words within the industry, that they are repeated so often now. And of course, your technologies are right at the heart of that. So let's get into that. I mean, we've used the word rugged in this panel heading. Let's get a definition of what rugged means. Can it be a very vague word? Who'd like to start? Let me throw that out there. Somebody tell me what rugged is and what it means in a warehouse context.
A device that bounces.
Say again?
I said a device that bounces.
A device that bounces.
It doesn't break into 1,000 pieces when the first time it gets dropped. Is it the simplest?
Yeah, I agree. And I would say reliability, which is rugged doesn't always mean the most durable rugged product that can withstand impact, because it all depends on the use case. So it depends what the customer needs, but what we of course are after is reliability and to reduce any risk for downtime.
Yeah, it's all about, I know, reliability. So it's all about performance, reliability, but also giving the customer a better ROI for investing in something rugged that's going to last longer, that's going to give a better user experience because there's less breakages, and it's a more efficient, cost-effective platform for users to do their work.
Likewise, something that can be fully supported for a very long period of time as well. Yeah, sort of 6-7 year warranty on there.
Right. And Frederic, I was give you an opportunity to say something there.
Yes, I would say that rugged is a word to say that the product is made for its purpose. And when we talk about a rugged printer, it means that, yes, it is intended to be used in a warehouse.
Right.
Or on the road.
Okay, so maybe with that purpose in mind. Now, of course, there are many products that fit this category of rugged. We talk about handheld computers, scanning, and we also talk about mobile printers in the warehouse. So we should sort of separate those out a bit, I think. Shall we start with printers then? Frederick, tell us about mobile printing, rugged printing, and about what it can bring to the warehouse.
You know, it's all about efficiency. When in a warehouse you have to relabel boxes for any reason, or in a warehouse you have to prepare an order, e-commerce, then mobile printing makes sense. Mobile printing is to be able to do the job without having to go to an office to pick up some shipping labels. That's the way to do it. The printer in this kind of environment needs to be rugged, but the printer by itself doesn't do much. It has to go hand in hand with a ruggedized tablet, ruggedized PDA terminal. And I'm very, very glad to see three major brands on these panel discussions. I have a lot of respect for all three. They are some of the top manufacturers of ruggedized mobile computers. And I'm quite proud to be sitting with them on this panel. So yes, why should all this be ruggedized? The reason is automation. If at one point something breaks, then the whole flow stops, and the loss is and the way to get all that back running is quite complex. So you cannot prepare the automation of warehouse, spend a fortune on very nice shelves and then buy products, mobile computers, mobile printers that wouldn't stand the abuse of such an environment.
What can you do to make a printer rugged? What are the materials that you will use to give it that quality?
It's a good question. It has to, plastic, some resins are particularly suited for that. I would say the secret, yes, is in the use of the right kind of plastic, and then you have to test it. And you can test it at your factory. We, Big Salon, we are a manufacturer of a printer. We have our own factory. And then what will make it ruggedized, it's the exposure in the field. Let me say that Big Salon is this year, the seventh year in a row, the first manufacturer of mobile receipt printer in the world. So we're not number one for nothing. It's about, yes, the right kind of material, but it's also expertise. It's the time you've been in the market. And my colleagues here on the panel, their products are outstanding also because of this time and exposure to the market.
You mentioned about mobile receipt. For the uninitiated, explain what the benefit that is to a user having a mobile receipt facility.
Sure. So if we talk about pick and track in the mobile receipt, let's talk about DHL, for instance. DHL in Europe, they have deployed, particularly in Germany, 250,000 mobile receipt printers using linerless. So it's all about delivering a good. It's all about e-commerce. And when DHL goes to a customer, the person has obviously a mobile computer in his hand, but he has a printer so that he can stick the delivery notice on the door if the customer is not here, on the mailbox if it's another opportunity, can stick it on a piece of cardboard and put that in the mailbox. And it makes for a very outstanding delivery service. You know, the customer has something printed, he can read it. That's one of the benefits.
Thank you. Anthony, let me come to you, also talking about printers. I think if you look at the printing world, there are there's quite a bit of jargon and words which a newcomer might be quite baffled by, words like liner and linerness and thermal transfer. Can you give us a sense of what all these might mean and why they matter?
Well, we're not a print manufacturer for one, so we work with all of the print manufacturers. Yeah, really give an example there. So we're kind of agnostic to print providers, and our devices will work with anything for whatever solution. But it's key that the end user gets the right type of printer for the right print for the right application. So as I said, we're not an expert on print.
Right.
Friend Frederic there is. So we'll be better placed to.
Well, let me come back to Fred then on that. And Fred, if you could answer that, and I'll come back to you on something else, Anson.
Thermal printing, so you have transfer, so the thermal transfer, it's to print a label that is supposed to last a long time. Typically, it will be a synthetic label that would be expected to last for a few years even. Direct thermal is to print labels, typically shipping labels, that are intended to last a few weeks to a few months.
I see.
Today, direct thermal is dominant. There are more and more good papers out there that make this technology on the rise.
Okay. Let me come to talk about the other area of rugged, which of course is around handheld computers. Ask the same question again, really, maybe starting with Johan. What sort of materials are making the difference in a handheld computer in the warehouse? What are you using to give it that quality?
Well, I would say it's partly the material, but it's more about the mechanical design and how the product is designed. When we look at the material used, it's PC plastic, and for shock absorption, we use TPU to absorb that energy from drops, which is also TPU. TPE is another word for rubber, basically. So that combination, plastic with rubber, but when something is dropped and or exposed to vibration, I'd say it has more to do with mechanical design inside, on how PC boards and display and components are fastened, docking connector, to make sure that it is durable and reliable over time. So of course, material is important. It will be a bit of a challenging future that we'll go into. There are new, if it's called regulation, or about to be at least, to use recycled plastic starting from 2024. So we are looking at that as well, which of course will impact the industry as a whole quite a bit. So, but yeah, when in terms of ruggedness, it's not only about the materials used, but a lot about the mechanical design as well.
Okay, Mike, anything to add to that?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because, for instance, like Panasonic are the #1 patent producer for the past 3 decades. So we take a lot of that technology and we pull it into our rugged portfolio of tablets, laptops, and handhelds. And some of those are around screen technology, like putting a direct bond in amongst the screen and having several layers of the screen, which makes the screen more rugged for better performance, better visibility. And it almost gives it like a bit of suspension, a bit of give, so it makes it more rugged. But that's something that's unique to us. And same with, I know we can go on to it more around like battery life. And, some of the technology that we use that makes the battery rugged, but also, perform for longer. So we feel it's it's a leader in that aspect. But yeah, all around, like the resin, bumpers, put in more reinforcement in certain areas where it drops, and just having plastics, especially, that can be wiped down. As we know in the the world today with the pandemic, every mobile computer's being tested with intense cleaning, and then for us, we still class that as being rugged because it still has to withstand water corrosion, water ingress, because of that extensive cleaning, which it's having it rugged outside the four walls, mobile workers inside. We all know how tough it is in a warehouse environment and outside. So for us, it's about making it rugged for those for those environments.
And I want to ask you guys what these are used for then next. So let's come back to Johan. What would you use a handheld computer for in the warehouse?
So a lot of it today is data collection and interpret data. What we see the biggest trends right now, and there will be in the upcoming years here, is the 5G, the IoT, Internet of Things. Everything being connected is a lot of data to collect from in warehousing, temperatures on certain boxes, packages, and whatnot, and to be able to see that in what we are focusing on is, of course, the handheld device, the rugged terminal. But that alone doesn't do much. You need input data and then do something with it and output as well. So it's a lot of data collection from more and more sensors. If we look traditionally, it's more RFID a bit. We have barcode scanning, but a lot more sensors to collect data from in the future. So that will increase. That's what we see, especially within logistics and warehousing. And of course, yeah, with all that improved efficiency, we see a major trend towards automation, so that's part of it, to improve efficiency and
Sure.
extend.
Let me come to Anthony on that with that question. How does this technology speed up warehouse logistics? What does it do?
I think I would carry on what Johan said there. Is the collection and the processing of data backwards and forwards to the user, back to the warehouse, back to whether it's SAP or whatever CRM, ERP, whatever WMS system they're using. So it's transfer that data quickly and efficiently. But it also adds form factor. A lot of people now are talking about single form factor for multiple purposes. So whether it's the addition of an RFID scanner, but also putting a handle on there and the device being able to go out four walls and being used for other purposes for a 24/7 type process. So one form factor, multiple uses. The days of the bricks and sticks, and there's still a place for that, and we still manufacture those. But the single form factor now is becoming more and more prevalent.
Okay, thank you.
And I can add to that as well that what we see, like today or this year, we've introduced two products within the wearable segment. And wearables is something that we also, what is the benefit for users? Well, wearables, of course, you wear something, you have your hands free. This is something that is a step forward, I would say, from having one hand free and having a terminal in one hand. We see more questions asked and demand for wearables where you can have both hands free and still be able to operate something like ring scanner or other type of wearable equipment.
So to drive down into that for instance would be useful in picking operations. If you're picking products, picking SKUs, you basically don't have to put down a scanner in order to pick up those objects. Is that correct?
Exactly, yes. So both the hardware, battery life of these ring scanners have improved, but also it's just the infrastructure. I would say it's the consumers and warehouse equipment in general are more adapted to it and used to it. So we've seen a big pickup in those type of requests recently.
Okay, anybody? Mike, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so it's just on the the benefits. I mean, we was talking, some of the materials from Panasonic around the screen, the battery life. With the screen, we have several.
Talk a bit about the battery life actually, because I didn't want to forget that point. Why does that matter?
Yeah, so I mean, so when you've got a mobile worker, if there's you know, if it's postal service or if it's you know, a courier person that has to, you know, walk a, you know, a long way, or it's a utilities company and they have to, you know, go from job to job, and having that extra battery life means that they get more productivity out of their mobile computer. So, you know, it doesn't go flat on them. They don't, you know, we do batteries that last more than longer. You're talking up to 18 hours on some of our products, which, you know, we don't expect anyone to work 18 hours, but it gives that extra reassurance that, you know, the battery isn't going to give up on them. And also because we're obviously a manufacturer, that a lot of this technology we produce ourselves. The batteries are actually extremely lightweight and slim. So it means that our mobile computing products are very light. So our tablets, it means that we maintain the rugged, you know, the ruggedness that customers, you know, need in their operations, but they also get, you know, a lighter product that's going to make the users be more comfortable with using them, but also have the battery performance that they need. And I was just saying on the screens as well, we have different modes that you can have on the screen. And I was talking about, you know, some of the patents we got some rain sensing technology as well on our screens, so that there's a lot of development that goes in to actually give the users a better, you know, a better experience. And these are all benefits for that our customers, you know, have been seeing.
Okay, because I know there also that isn't there advances in reflective screen technology as well.
Yeah, that's so with our several layers that we have in screens, within our screen, it helps with daylight reflection, which is a huge, you know, it's a huge pain point for customers. You know, when we talk to customers, logistics businesses, it's about, yeah, the daylight, you know, being an issue, reflection on the screens, the battery life, and obviously like the ruggedness. So we bring all those together to make sure that we've got a solution for our customer. But yeah, it's all, we've got daylight mode, which makes sure that, you know, the screen doesn't reflect, and it's got, you know, really strong, you know, power input behind it that makes it visible. We also do like ambient as well. So if there is enough light, it takes that in and it helps with battery management as well.
Okay. You know, we've talked about traceability. Visibility is a huge word in warehouse logistics. What does visibility mean in a warehouse context? Perhaps we'll come back to you on that, Frederic.
If we talk about visibility, let's come back to the battery. I think it's important to mention that our new line of mobile label printers can come with a smart battery. And having a good battery, a battery that will last for long, is fantastic. But it's also good to know when it will, you know, stop being fully charged, but also how many charging cycles are left with the battery, so that you can change it preventively. So we have a MDM, a software that allow you remotely to check on the battery and have this kind of information. So this is a kind of visibility you need to.
And in terms of that's great, but in terms of visibility, as in traceability within the warehouse, visibility, track and trace, etc., I wanted to get onto that a bit, talk a bit about that and the importance of this technology in enabling that.
Traceability. Let me mention one funny application about traceability in the hospitality market. It's about you know, today McDonald's, to take a clear example, they prepare the burger when you order it. They prepare it to your taste, and so now the ticket is printed in the kitchen with your order. But the challenge is to take this order to you, Paul, who are not in the kitchen. You are sitting at the table, maybe you are at home. So we print a sticky receipt that we, you know, glue on the bag, on the tray. The same application in e-commerce is quite popular, where an order through e-commerce will be, you know, sent to a warehouse. This order has to be prepared and delivered. And here also, the way to do it, the best way to do it, is to print a sticky ticket or sticky label that can be put on the box, so that you can prepare the order before shipment. And then this sticky receipt, you can remove it. There are some glues that allow you to remove this ticket without leaving any trace of glue or damaging the box. So that's one application of tracking an order through its preparation using sticky receipts.
Let's have some more examples of visibility. Who wants to give us some more of those, and where traceability, visibility are helped by this technology?
I can just add to that, like I mentioned a little bit earlier here with the IoT and more data coming in, which of course helps when you look at the terminal and what that can handle in terms of visibility and traceability. That device can of course handle incoming data, and the more incoming data, the more traceability we get. And this is a trend that has been for years and is increasing exponentially over the past couple of years, and will so in the future as well. So instead of knowing where products are in terms of point A to point B, we can also see the step points in between where a product is moving within the warehouse or even towards to the end customer as well. And this is something we see in the applications that are used with our type of terminals, that we increase visibility by having more data input into the devices.
We've got a cargo freight customer that uses our tablets for mapping. So that they take freight, they've got a map of where the freight and the containers need to go, and then they're able to communicate from their cranes, from their operations that are moving from container ships, view to the positions within a yard, and it means using that they're able to track the containers, but also communicate to colleagues who are very far away, because these cranes are significantly tall. So yeah, it's something, and they also with HGVs that are coming to the yard to actually collect containers, they actually send a map to their devices, and often they would use it's like a smartphone or something, because some of these couriers, some of them are self-employed, some of them are small chains, some of them are that they're utilizing what they have, but it means that they're able to integrate it with whatever device it is with our Panasonic devices on the software that this particular customer uses. So they're able to it's an efficient way of communicating to those collections, as well as managing goods coming in and moving around the yard. Right.
Anthony, give us a sense of to maybe someone who's new to this, of what sort of information scanning can provide, the depth and breadth of information that is available through good scanning technology.
Well, there's as much information as you wish. So it's like a 2D barcode. Obviously, we have cutting edge scanners, and Data Logic are renowned for our scanning technology. So there's as much information you want around the product that's being picked, collected, delivered, what have you. You can put as much info in the actual barcode, which we can then interpret through the scanner, and then through the appropriate app. All that information there is backed off to wherever it's going to go. So information, the more information there is there to start with, the more that information travels through the processes. But it is all about having a good scanner to be able to read those barcodes. Whether that's through your handset, through a hand scanner, whether it's through a mobile scanner, it's a couple of meters, or a long range scanner. We have scanners that scan 25 meters away. So in a large warehouse operation, you can scan to the very top and collect all that information. You don't have to go up to, on a forklift, go up, collect the device, the package, bring it down, then scan it. We can scan it at a great distance. So I think there's as much information as required by the customer can be contained within the barcode, and we can interpret that information.
And do you find that customers are asking for more information now than they would maybe 5 years ago?
I think if you go back a few years when it was just a simple linear barcode as to, you know, like a 2D and the amount of information that can be contained, they are vastly different. You know, so much more information in there. Certainly if you're going down to the level of picking individual items, and you had two items that, you know, visually look identical to the person who's picking, but, you know, the 2D says, well, that's got X, Y, and Z, and that's A, B, C. But to your eye, they look the same. Then yes, that is key to being able to pick, you know, a picking process. Right.
And with regard to ergonomics and user, both Frederick gave us an example. Mike and Anthony have both talked about it as well, that lightness, lightweight, that compact size are increasingly important in this sector. Is there anything else you can do in terms of ergonomics? I know it's a big thing for your customers now.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
I was going to say, I think it's very important. It's all about the user experience. If you have, you know, a big clumpy device and it's heavy, you're less likely to use it. And, you know, it's you know, these are mixed environments, male, female, small, large, etc., left-handed, right-handed. You know, there's every variable there now. And going back to what I said earlier, you know, the form factor and be able to use a device in multiple purposes throughout a business. You know, you don't want something that's big, you want to get it in your pocket, you want to be able to connect it to various things. So ergonomics are key, you know, to being able to use the device. And then obviously what also is key is the accessories you can add to the device, you know, whether it's a pistol, grip, it's a pouch, it's whatever it happens to be, to make the processes easier for the user. Because if the user doesn't buy into it, then, you know, it's not going to get used properly.
And have you, like Johan, do you agree that wearables are becoming increasingly?
Wearables. Sorry.
We manufacture some wearables, sit on the back of the hand, Bluetooth with any device. You know, it just makes the operation very, very simple.
Okay. Carrying on that ergonomics point, I think it was Johan wanted to say something. Was it?
No, I just wanted to build on what Anthony said there, that in terms of right-handed, left-handed, we had the same challenge actually when we developed the new ring scanner that we have, and to really make sure when we did the pilot run to realize that, okay, we need to adopt it for both left-handed and right-handed. That's one of the key things with the feedback that we got from the initial release of it. So that is very important. In other terms, yes, lightweight, and that goes back to what's the heaviest part of a terminal. Battery, of course, like Mike says, it's super important to not only have efficiency in the battery, but platform efficiency, display efficiency, so that you can actually get the runtime with a lesser size battery. So you don't have to have the big, huge, clunky battery. That'd be an option in some cases, but if you can really have an efficient display, have an efficient platform, it doesn't consume as much energy. And this is a trend we've seen with Android devices, of course, for the past couple of years. With that type of platform, you do get a lighter device because you can use a little bit smaller battery and still get those extended runtime. So yeah, definitely. And thirdly, and if we're talking about ergonomics, it's about accessories. What type of carrying solutions, if you have holsters or pistol grip or whatever it may be, or wearable solutions. So all these come into play when we talk about ergonomics.
And are all of those, just sticking with you, Johan, for a second, are all of those, the pistol grip, are they all now becoming equally valuable, or are you finding that one particular accessory style is becoming more prevalent than any others?
With ring scanner is by far, we see that's picking up a lot. Ring scanner together with a terminal. So what we see is that you have a ring scanner, so you do picking and scanning. And then you have a terminal that you maybe, instead of picking it up at every time, you may be picking it up to check something, what you have scanned and so on, every 10th scan or 20th scan. So that combination is something we see a lot. And then what Anthony said in terms of scanner, what we see at least when it comes to the pistol grip is for a lot our long-range scanner, for example, but long-range scanner solution, that is not suitable at this stage, at least we don't have a long-range scanner for a ring scanner solution, but for the pistol grip solutions. And that's, if we look at long range scanning, pistol, that's a pistol grip, and then ring scanner for it's a major trend for the normal scanning.
Mike, let me just give you an opportunity to talk about ergonomics with Panasonic, and then I'll come on to Frederick on that as well.
I mean, it's all right. Just to add, I won't like repeat anything because everyone's all got key points that are extremely valuable. I mean, just to add with it, I mean, we're trying to make our tablets, handhelds, and rugged laptops more adaptable because customers, they want a device that's going to give them the ROI, but it can be reusable for other operations, so they can get the best life out of it. So that they may want a scanner on it, they may not want a scanner on it. They may want certain snap-on accessories which they might not need, they might need moving forward. They they might want to utilize the camera for occasional scanning, as we all know that there's a lot of software providers out there now that trying to utilize the camera, which saves on cost of not having the barcode scanner. But we all know barcode scanners are extremely valuable in our industries. So we're just trying to be flexible and adaptable, and we try and listen to our customers, and we try and we've got our biggest range ever now of screen sizes, due to customers use cases.
It's about having a solution for every available customer need, basically. That's what
exactly.
And you find that those are changing. Frederick, you talk about ergonomics. You did mention the small mobile printer earlier. What else can you tell us about the ergonomic suitabilities?
So ergonomy is key, and the reason is quite simple. Some of the logistics operations are quite hard. Let's talk about cross-docking. Cross-docking is a growing trend today, and I'm working on a project in the French market for a company carrying goods that needs to be refrigerated. They cannot go above 0 degrees, and they practice what's called cross-docking. What is cross-docking? It's the switching a cargo from one truck to a different truck without warehousing this cargo. So it's a very swift, efficient operation. And as you can imagine, it's very tough. So yes, your printer needs to be lightweight, some autonomy. And if we mention autonomy, let me mention one technology, one trend. I'm not making that. It's a linerless paper.
Stay prepared, yeah.
And this paper, as you can see, this label, actually, it sticks, comes without liner, without the plastic material that typically goes underneath a label. And this allows you, if you look at a printer, if you use linerless technology, then you will have much more autonomy, because you will have a roll that is label only, that is not label plus liner. So using this technology, typically you would have twice as much length of label than you would have using the traditional linered technology. So for those who look for efficiency, ergonomy is about sometimes not having to change the supply too often, and making it simple to change, obviously. But I strongly advise those people listening to this discussion to look at linerless technology.
Okay, thank you for that. We were talking about ergonomics there. There's another word, I don't think most of us had heard of the word ergonomics sort of 10, 15 years ago. And another word that's really come into the vocabulary more and more, it's a massive word now, especially post-pandemic, and that is sustainability. At least one of you mentioned it in your 3 words at the start. So, I'm a company looking to bring my getting towards net zero, especially with the government targets that are being set now. It's something that all big companies have to be thinking about. How are your products going to help me get to net zero, if at all? So, Johan, you said sustainability. Let's start with you.
Yeah, well, that's it's a buzzword, as you say. It's a trend that we do see, and And what we are looking at is to start introducing then recycled plastic. Plastic, I would say, is the major part of our products that are made up of that, where we can make a big difference by using different materials. And it's not as easy as just using recycled plastic for every part. Some of them are sensitive in terms of ruggedness and so on. But when it comes to accessories, there's a lot of, when we talk about the rugged world, it's not only about the device itself, but it's also about the ecosystem and all the accessories. This is something where we're spending a lot of effort on now to have these charging docking stations and so on in more sustainable production in terms of material that we use, and especially recycled plastic.
Okay, Anthony?
Yeah, I think, I mean, for us, sustainability comes from the actual product life and being able to extend the life. So we provide all of our manufacturing equipment with an easy care warranty, fully composite, but it also includes batteries. Batteries are lithium ions, typically have an 18-month life cycle. We include the battery within the warranty. We have a 7-year warranty, obviously manufacturer backed. And obviously once those batteries come back through the process, they reach the end of their life, obviously, we're able to recycle them, but we're able to extend the life of the actual product, for 7 years and beyond. So, typical consumer device, 18 months, 2 years, they pretty much have it certainly in a rugged environment. We can give a 7-year life on a product, so instead of having 2 or 3 products within that lifespan, we're only providing 1. So we're extending the life of the product for a much longer period of time and taking care of the battery during that period as well.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, so I mean, very similar. I mean, we would, once a product goes end of life, we would support for a further 5 years. And we also have a responsibility to use, recycled plastics, and also, we have a responsibility to take back any goods and dispose of properly. So in terms of reusing some plastics, putting back into manufacturing so that we can reuse and, and salvage them. We offer a lot of, buyback schemes. But yeah, it's all about, having the longest lasting device a customer can have, because we don't want to keep on, replacing these every 2-3 years. We really want a long relationship that we can support and, provide that sustainability. And, we'll always make sure that if there's any products out there, we'll, make sure that we're responsible and bring it back into the business and try and pull it back through the whole, production facility and make sure we dispose of it, correctly.
Okay. Fred?
So yes, sustainability is making product that can last, but also that can be repaired. And here, I would say that Big Salon is quite, friendly about what, who can repair. We train our partners so that, a printer can live for as long as possible. Because even if you make a very strong product like this one, it can drop from 2.1 meter. But guess what? It is used at the French railway company, the SNCF, and sometimes they will break them. So being able to repair them, having the parts, the spare parts available for this purpose, I think is what Big Salon takes as a priority, definitely. Okay. And in the French market, by the way, there's a rating that will be, and I don't know, it may be European, that all products will have to have some kind of a rating about repairability. Some, scanning product may come with, or some iPhones, you cannot change the battery. Clearly, this kind of product will have a bad time. We'll have to make changes.
Sure. Okay. And a sort of less pleasant subject, but I think something that does need to be addressed. The thing about all of your products, rugged handhelds, they're very, they're compact, they're easily moved, they're desirable, they're expensive. How can you help, and there's no easy way around saying it, theft prevention in warehouse environment, that kind of thing. From, you know, you've got high turnovers of the staff, stuff can go missing. What can you do to reassure customers, if anything at all, in that subject? Let's start with Mike.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of, I mean, it depends on the environments. You know, we often just have devices go missing from, you know, if they've been left at the top of a warehouse racking. You know, thefts are not too common. But yeah, I mean, we would have, you know, a different management platform. So we've got some software that we offer that can totally brick a device so that, you know, it can't be reused. We also have, you know, I know, you know, other people use MDMs, but we can still, you know, track, you know, devices, and we can see where they are, where their locations are. But also we often, it's very familiar now that we brand up devices in customers' colours, and it makes them less, you know, less desirable. You can't really sell them back, you know, you can't really sell them on. Because it doesn't look like a consumer device, it doesn't look like an iPhone or an iPad. You know, that's why often for us it's about finding products that's gone missing. You know, if it's been you know, left in a vehicle or in the back, if it's been dropped in you know, in a box or somewhere like that, using a remote management software, that's how we can, you know, track a device that's been, you know, been misplaced. Then, you know, we've got other software and security. I mean, we do a lot with the public sector, and there's a whole host. I mean, it's not my verticals, as you know, but there's a lot of, you know, in-depth software security applications out there that we work with day in, day out, that just, you know, locks down a device, bricks the device. There's a lot of clever stuff around that.
Does Mike speak for everyone there? Is there anything that can be added to that, what Mike said, or is that broadly what everyone would have said?
I think I'd add.
Yeah, that's about the same. We have similar. What you can't prevent a hardware device. If someone wants to steal it, it's gone. But of course, we similar MDM tool. All our Android devices come with something called Maxco Managers MDM software, where the customer themselves can basically see where the device is located. They can remote wipe it. They can brick it, lock it, so at least the data doesn't go into unnecessary hands. But you can prevent the hardware physically from being stolen, maybe.
Yeah. Anthony, you were going to say something?
Yeah, pretty similar to what Johan said. I mean, all of our Android devices come with preloaded, pre-licensed, free of charge 42 gears, MDM Lite, SureFox and SureLock, which gives the customer a basic MDM solution for the control and management of the devices. Obviously, there's numerous MDMs out there to give full control, which obviously we're all aware of. But we do come up pre-licensed with, as I said, 42 gears already on the device, free of charge. So the customer has a light version straight out of the box.
Okay.
I was just going to quickly add. I mean, we've got lockable mounts, lockable desk mounts as well. So often you don't find lockable, you know, desk mounts. We do a full range of different locking mechanisms, so that if it is in store or in a warehouse and you only want certain individuals to have access to it, then they can have keys that then allows them to have access to devices and then, you know, move them around.
Okay, thank you. I want to give each of you the chance now, because we're coming up really towards the end of our hour. I want to give you all to have a chance to talk about where your product has made a difference, maybe with a short use case, talk us about that, or just an example of somewhere where you've had successes and you've made a difference for a customer. So who'd like to kick off? Or do you need a couple of minutes to think about it?
I can go ahead and start.
Go ahead.
A perfect example, I would say, is it's a wearable we introduced actually 7 years ago, and recently introduced the second generation. It's called the SP400X, and the new generation is SP500X. And what that is actually, I'm sorry, we talked a lot about the printing here, but what that does is actually cuts out the printing of label part. And to increase efficiency, it's a wearable that is a combined scanner and printer. So you scan a barcode, it goes up to the backend server, and then back to the printer, and within a second you print a new information directly on the package. And this is used by the world's largest sorting facilities in the world, and basically to increase efficiency, to optimize cost saving. We talked about sustainability, to get rid of that label and also risk for errors when you have a handmade operation to put a label on the package as well. So that's, I would say, it's the product in our portfolio that has made the biggest difference in terms of efficiency and sustainability in warehousing. And yeah, we just released the second generation of this product here.
Thank you, Johan. That's excellent. Who wants to go next?
I don't mind going next for Panasonic. So I'm trying to think of the most unique use case. So more so in pharmaceutical. You know, I was saying about our products being very flexible and adaptable. We needed a customer wanted a fingerprint reader, smart card reader, barcode reader, and the webcam removed from the product. So you think about, you know, the kind of uniqueness of that, and then also a device that can be wiped down, you know, throughout many periods of the day, and it needs to be rugged to extend that. You know, it needed to be a 12-inch screen. It needed to be Windows. There was a lot of, you know, elements around it, and you know that they use it. You know, it's pharmaceuticals, so they use it in labs. They use it for a variety of different tasks. You know that they do throughout their day. So, but that was unique because, as far as I'm aware, and in discussions with the customer, there was nothing else on the market that was able to tick all their boxes with the specification that they needed. So that's where Panasonic, you know, kind of could come into its own around the flexibility.
Thank you for that. Anthony?
Yeah, I think, you know, racking my brains, I mean, there's a very large national courier, which we recently secured. Again, you know, using a traditional Scorpio X5, traditional handheld, but they also wanted a mobile device for some of their drivers that load their own vehicles and deliver. So it's being able to use in the warehouse to scan the items to the van, but then be able to have the device that can actually put in the vehicle, use it for sat nav, obviously run the MDM on there, being able to scan, use it for ePod delivery, so it's a multi-purpose device. And one of the big selling points for ourselves was the ability to wireless charge. So again, we can actually wireless charge all our devices, so it's in the vehicle, it's in the warehouse, charging loops contained in the batteries, so can have multiple batteries on charge, and then operator just literally hot swaps the batteries, so we can do a 24/7 shift. So that's one for ourselves.
And Frederic?
I would highlight a large project we just won in Germany, involving mobile computers together with our mobile label printers. It's about relabeling food at supermarkets, and I think it's a nice application. It's not new, but it's picking up speed because, as we said, there are some laws that will fine waste, you know, and so a good way to avoid waste at food retail at a supermarket is to relabel the goods before they go bad. And several thousands of units of this beautiful label printer, mobile label printer, have been sold. I think it's a nice application because it serves a purpose, and you know, fighting waste at supermarket. And I look forward to having many more projects like that in the close future.
Thank you, Frederic. Guys, we're coming to the end. It's been great. So final question. What advice would you give? That's quite short answers, I think, because we're coming to the end of our time. What advice would you give to any prospective customer who's looking to overhaul their scanning technology, this, you know, the handheld, this kind of stuff? A word of advice about how they should go about doing it. So should we start with Johan?
I would say maybe probably not something new, but look at it long term. Look at solutions for years to come and not just for today.
Mike?
Yeah, so similar. I mean, for me, it's all about testing. It's all about making sure that, you know, the product's being tested fully via, you know, multiple users, multiple managers, so that everyone can see, you know, the benefits of it, and, you know, be realistic about the step forward. You know, I don't want to kind of name drop a big company out there that's got, you know, a kind of zero touch transaction stores. You obviously all know, but a lot of companies aspire to that zero touch. And, you know, often, you know, it's all about taking, you know, a step and, you know, how long they can get out of that solution, but make sure that it's realistic and they're not gonna, you know, kind of waste budget or, you know, have any, you know, issues along the way. So, and for me, it's all about testing. You know, the proof is, you know, in the pudding.
Okay, Anthony?
I think I'm following on from Mike there, is testing proof of concept, you know, a thorough proof of concept to ensure that, you know, the product meets the requirements for today and as much as possible for the future as well.
Thank you. And Frederick to finish.
So yes, absolutely. They should buy the right kind of equipment. And I would say that all 4 brands today sitting on this panel discussion have the credits, you know, the expertise, and we make outstanding products. But these products then should be sold by good companies. And I would tell the customer, yes, buy Bixolon, but buy Bixolon from a trusted source, renowned system integrator. You know, don't just look at the product, look at who will install that, maintain that. It's as important as the product itself.
Great advice to finish. Thank you, guys. To our viewers and listeners, if you have questions, do use the chat facility. Our panelists will be delighted to answer those for you. Meanwhile, thank you to Johan from Handheld Group, to Frederic from Bixolon, to Mike from Panasonic, and to, from Anthony from Data Logic. I was losing it there for a minute. But thank you very much, guys, and let's do it again soon.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Paul. Bye-bye.